Hey, what's up, Gratefully Dedicated? How's it going? What's up, Sean Coons? Dana and Dane, what's up, man? Matt, Daniel, how you guys doing? Let me know if the music is too loud. Just doing this live. I just kind of wanted to reach out to the YouTube side of things, and get your guys' perspective on everything. On Safemoon, on how you feel about it, where you think it's going. Just kind of reach out to you guys. Jail time for John Caroni? Okay. The volume is low. My volume is low? Okay, I can turn mine up, actually. Is that better? What's the issue with Safemoon today? Oh, there's no issue. I just, I used to make videos all the time for you guys on Safemoon, and there's just been like we covered all this bad news, and then it just kind of went quiet, and then like a couple discussions from Twitter have been posted on YouTube, and I kind of just wanted to reach out to you guys and get how you guys are feeling, because I built this whole channel basically off Safemoon. I had about 14,000 subscribers, and I have this channel. I built it on Safemoon. Trying to figure out what to do with it. I kind of like doing these Twitter spaces and talking to other people and getting their perspectives, and then posting those to YouTube for people to listen to. But I kind of just wanted to do a live stream to just see, like, reach out to you guys and say, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys done with it? Do you think it's over? You think it's a scam? Because I'm kind of stuck between. Well, I have a lot of channels that I'm working on for YouTube. And so it's like I have Crypto Control, and it was built on Safemoon, and Safemoon kind of doesn't have a lot of news, and it had a lot of bad things happen that haven't been addressed. So a lot of people have lost hope. There's still people that believe, but there's a lot of people that think it's like done for and that it's a waste of time. And CS says, I'll never trust Safemoon after what happened with the wallet launch. How the hell could John not know there wasn't anything to be launched? That's a good point. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Hyperbeam? Good to see you, man. So I just reaching out to you guys. That's all I'm really doing. And I know not everybody's active, but I just want to take a moment to see how you guys are feeling. I think it's kind of weird. I think that it used to be that people were afraid to say something negative about Safemoon because they would get canceled by the Safemoon army. And then I think that because of so much FUD, people are afraid to say something good about Safemoon now. Maybe not in their own spaces, but it really makes it hard for a place of like neutrality, a place to like have an open conversation. Like, it's so hard to have that because there's so much emotion on both sides, right? There's so much like, oh, if you believe Safemoon, you're a freaking idiot, and oh my god, keep giving them your money, you damn, like it's usually like what you get, right? Or it's like, oh, you're just an unbeliever, you're just trying to like screw people, you don't see the vision, this always happens, you're gonna miss out on the pump. And I'm trying to like pull a place together to allow those voices to be heard on both sides for those who want to hear both sides. But a lot of people that believe in Safemoon have either blocked me or they're just not that willing to talk about it in these spaces to actually like dissect it. Like, it's one thing to like speculate, but to actually dissect it and break it down. Metavision says, bro, seeing Luna and FTX flop, if Safemoon has a blockchain in exchange today, who will trust them with their money though? No, it's a good question. It's like, does Safemoon's history affect its future? And it's like, how could it not? But is it enough to stop it from being successful? That's a great question. Listen, I'm down so much I can't get out now. Into Moon or zero. Bottom line, no product is very disappointing. Oh, yeah, 100%. I believe it. That's a great take on that. Matt Daniel says, been done with Safemoon since failure number 684, the birthday month fiasco. That was a pretty big like flop Like the only thing that came good out of that, the crazy thing about the birthday fiasco is I think John went to the Gambia to try to get something big for the Safemoon army, and then it just completely flopped, and Operation Phoenix was done, and we got nothing. Like John was hinting that he was in the Gambia, so the best thing we got was like the leak of the exchange, and people were pretty excited about that. Now the exchange is done; they're just waiting to release it, I guess. Bobby Adams, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you, bro. Gratefully Dedicated says, I will say this, if everything they claim comes to be, this could be one of the best investments ever made. Like that's the thing I'm trying to keep in mind. It's like, and I know that a lot of people will think I'm an idiot for saying this. So I basically just, everyone thinks I'm an idiot because I'm in the middle, is what if the price goes up, right? It's like, yes, all this bad stuff has happened, but what if the price goes up? Now, for me, so many bad things have happened that it's a risky play, but it's also, if the price keeps going down, it doesn't become a risky play. It just becomes a couple hundred to a couple thousand investment whenever you think the price is really down. You can get a ton of tokens, right? And I told people this a long time ago. I'm like, guys, if the price keeps going down, don't dollar cost average down. You can just wait and buy a bunch. Like that's what I like to do. I don't like dollar cost averaging. I like waiting for the price to keep going down and then buying. And I've been waiting this whole time. But if I might buy more Safemoon if the price continues to go down for even longer and you can get a ton of Safemoon for cheap, then why not throw a couple $100 at it? John knew Wallet was a flop. Remember when he said it collapsed because Safemoon army was too strong? Yeah, I do remember he said that. CS says, anyone remember the $1 million they raised for the exchange like 2 years ago? Yeah, they did raise that. Mark says, I think everyone should just be patient, keep the faith. If you don't do something else. No point moaning. Well, Mark, I guess I agree with you. Like, if you're just like crying, if you're just like, man, I hate Safemoon and this sucks, like that, I would agree with you on that. But if you're also somebody who is voicing concerns and you're just trying to like have a conversation with people about your concerns, that's a different thing. That's not just moaning or whining. But I do agree that if you don't like it, well, there's actually a lot that goes into that conversation. Metavision says, what do you think of Grove, now a coin? Do a video with Mikey Crypto, talk on that. He's a big fan of yours. Good, did too. I actually don't know who that is. Mikey Crypto, I've never heard that before. I don't know about Grove, man. I'm hearing a lot of bad things and like how they're not actually a blockchain, but they're just like pretending to be on a blockchain, but they're still smart contract. But I'm not sure. I might be doing something soon, or I'll be actually working with another project. Basically, this other project has agreed, like they really liked my stuff. They liked my coverage of Safemoon. They liked my coverage of Evergrow, and they think that I'm unbiased. I know some of you guys might disagree with that. So I'm probably going to be working with them, and they said, hey, we want you to be upfront with your audience. We want you to tell them that you are being paid, and we want you to cover our project how you want to cover it. I'm like, hey, I can cover it. I can say whatever it is I feel about the project. Probably just be explainer videos of how it works and stuff. It is a new project coming out, and I can make money. And I can tell you guys that I can make money instead of like trying to hide. Oh, hey guys, yeah, I definitely didn't get a whitelist spot. Like a lot of people end up doing. So you guys will be hearing about that one probably next month. Hyperbeam says the best silver of hope that Safemoon has, in my opinion, is the brand awareness. Yeah, see, that's something to keep in mind as well. The history is rough, but I'm sure they've known enough to where if something big came, it would be noticed. Still pretty risky. I mean, to me, like that's a big thing. Is a lot of projects just can't get exposure, right? They're desperately trying to get eyes on their project, just people to even pay attention to it. And the project pumps a little and then it dumps and then it's gone. Safemoon has had such a bad history, but I don't know, that's where I'm like, I don't know. What if they start releasing products, and what if those products are being used? Or what if a bunch of people start FOMOing back into Safemoon? Also, another thing to consider is the price has gone down so much that doesn't that allow for another run to happen? unless there's just too many whales or too many people that are sitting waiting to try to get back out what they put in. There probably is a decent amount of people who have put in way too much, who are just trying to recover some of their losses, and there probably is some more whales. But it's like, how much can the price go down before it allows for another run to happen? Like, it's easier for a run to happen at a lower price than it is at the prices 2 years ago. I will be patient, I believe. That's okay, Todd. Yeah, everyone can have their own perspective, and there's no reason to like treat each other like they're idiots. CS says the stupid owls and innuendo, they were laughing at the army the whole time. Yeah, that the thing about the owls, yeah, that was super disrespectful to the army. Like, if you were on the team and you knew that people were buying and hyping up everything you did, and you knew that sending around owls and stuff was like basically, to them, felt like a hint of something huge that was coming, right? That's how they always dealt with us. Unfortunately, they always dealt with us by like, oh, we'll drop this tiny hint and they'll go berserk. Like, John could post a picture of a 4-leaf clover, and then there'd be like YouTube videos and Reddit posts going into how the 4-leaf clover actually stands for, this company, and they're probably working with this company and it's going to be huge, right? Like that was the game. That was the game that we were all playing, and nothing was coming out, and everybody was buying, and the whales were selling. So pretty insane that's how it played. And I think the owls played into that. I mean, we all did owls. I was researching freaking like people with a last name like Owl or Hoot or something like that, and I made a video on that. I was like, maybe it's this, guys. I don't know what it is. There was all kinds of connections that you can make to something. If they don't make any connections and they drop a hint, they let us do all the work. Which I don't think is a bad thing if you have something big. But if you don't, then you're just screwing with your army. And to me, like, that demonstrates a level of interaction that they were okay with engaging with, which demonstrates how they viewed the investors, right? They were okay to mess with them, and for them to lose money. In my perspective, I could be wrong. Name of the project, ASAP CC. So here's the thing, as I'm not saying that this project is going to be the next huge project. I'm just saying the fact that they approached me and found my coverage valuable, and are willing to pay for me and let me say, hey guys, I'm being paid to make these videos, and then to make explainer videos and to make videos covering this project. Like, to me, that means a lot, that somebody recognizes my value and is willing to invest in it, basically. So I'll be covering that project. As soon as they give the green light, I'll probably just start coming out with videos and stuff, and possibly doing lives and stuff with that one. I think they made all the YouTubers look like idiots. Oh, they made everyone look like idiots. Safemoon, like, if Safemoon had not, if the team wouldn't have left, if they would have delivered on their products, Safemoon Army would not have looked as stupid as we did. But it was because they did all those things that if you continue to ignore those things and just like, yeah, Safemoon, then it's like, well, now you don't. And I don't mean this towards anybody, but it just appears that way. It's like, what do you mean Safemoon? They didn't deliver on any of their products. They lied to you guys. This guy is rich. And these are such hard conversations to have, because you're usually not allowed to have the conversation in both directions. Usually one or the other, right? It's either John's a scammer or John's not a scammer, right? But it's like, here's the reality of it. If you just sit down and have an honest conversation, John is living in a $2.25 million house. He has extremely nice cars, extremely nice clothes. He probably eats the finest food. He has a $3,000 backpack. This was all a long time ago. John had an insane amount of money. And, that was one of the things that I had thought of is, yes, John was living in a trailer before Safemoon. It wasn't like a crappy trailer. It was like a nice trailer, but it wasn't like bougie. It wasn't like super nice. He was still living in a trailer and not a house. I mean, I think John would have chosen to live in a house if he had had the money to get a house. So you're taking somebody who is not the primary reason of why Safemoon succeeded, is not John. I think it was like a lot of things combined, but I think some of the huge push and pull might have been the celebrities promoting it, which they were paid to do from the liquidity that I believe Kyle Nagy pulled out of the liquidity. He used remove liquidity function if you go look at that function. And there's people out there that just desperately try to like make any excuse to why this couldn't be bad, and it's just like, that's just not a realistic way of thinking. But if you want to do that's fine. It's just not logical to like, you need a fair balance for the pros and cons. You know what I mean? Let me read some of these comments, make sure I don't miss them. 8 Reasons says it's amazing how denial people are in that Safemoon might actually release products. I actually do think they will. I think they will release products. I just don't know if they'll affect the price. You know what I mean? Jack of all trades says, "Get it, CC. Glad you're doing okay, man. Hope your health is good as well." Yeah, I'm struggling, man. I'm really trying this like keto carnivore diet. I'm trying to like get myself into a good spot. Andrew Kohler, how's it going, man? Says, "I'm shocked people out there are still believing in their project, and we are just going to forget everything in the past 2 years." Well, that's where it's like, I don't know, man. That's where I think it's like it's really hard to have that conversation on. Do all of the things that happened in the past 2 years guarantee that nothing will ever cause the price to go up again? I don't think so. I think that if you look at patterns, then you can say, well, if this pattern keeps continuing to happen over and over and over again, then why wouldn't it continue to happen that way? So like, yeah, I mean, you could apply that to the team's actions and the releasing of products, is that they have always overpromised and underdelivered by like, a long shot. So if the pattern continues to happen, it's very likely that they won't deliver on products and the price will keep going down. But I don't think that just because a pattern happens a certain way consistently over a period of time doesn't mean that it might not change. And I think that's something that you have to like keep in mind is, and it's like, I don't want to lie to people because like, here's the lie. If I knew Safemoon was going to zero, which I don't know, and I knew it was never going to go up again, then if I was telling people, hey guys, what if something big happened? You should buy, you should throw in a couple hundred to a couple thousand. Well, then I'm basically convincing people to lose money. So I don't come at it from the perspective of it is going to zero or it's going to the moon, because those are both lies. You can't, that's like saying you're a fortune teller and you know the future. And that's just like, I don't really believe in that. I can say in my perspective, it most likely does not look good for Safemoon, but it does seem that Safemoon has so much things tied to it, basically, that so many people know about it, that what if the price went down so much that if it started going back up, and this is a great conversation because I've never really heard this argument before, but so many people know about Safemoon and the price has gone down so much. What if they release some products and people start buying? Because like what you need is I think for a project to go up, and based on what I know, I'm not saying I know everything, but based on what I know, you need the right people holding and the right people buying. Because as soon as those wrong people holding, like the whales, start selling, then people lose that FOMO. And the FOMO's gone. That's like a huge thing that causes the price to go up. I think that there's probably not a project out there that doesn't exist that when the price went up, it was mainly because of FOMO. It was fear of missing out on a pump. And the fear of missing out on the pump is what causes the pump. It's such an interesting thing. So like, what if that starts to happen and people see oh wow, Safemoon's going up, and a lot of people will be like, oh, that's not much, it's just barely gone up. But what if everybody knows about it and they go, oh crap, what if this does take off? And then there might be this potential, and I'm just trying to provide a realistic solution or a realistic possibility of how the price might go up. That people might be like, because so many people know about it, if the price starts to go up, FOMO might kick in for a ton of people that already know about it to say, oh, I don't want to miss this. I could be wrong, but to me that seems like a pretty realistic scenario, especially because the price has gone down so much. Jack of all trades says, holy smokes, Matt K. Oh, you know what? I don't have the right chat on. I might be missing some. Sorry. Somebody lost 40K. Yeah, a lot of people lost 20K, 40K. Oh, okay, I see it right now. Matt Daniel says, I lost 40 grand on Safemoon because I was investing in it. How silly I feel looking back. No, I don't feel silly. Like, here's the thing is, we didn't know what we know today. Like, if we could go back in time and we knew that, like, the team wasn't getting along, that they were going to quit, that John had millions of dollars that appeared to come from the liquidity pool that he's not going to address. If we had known all those things, we probably wouldn't have been bullish back then. It was the fact that we didn't know those things until they got told to us. Sorry about that, Matt. That sounds terrible, man. I hope you're a pretty wealthy guy and that 40 grand isn't like a really hard hit. Like 40 grand is I feel like that's a hard hit for anybody, even rich people, right? 40 grand for a lot of people is like a year's wages, unless you just kind of like have this like lavish, luxurious lifestyle. I lost 40 grand because I invested at a blockchain exchange and Safemoon as gas. This what they promised and 100% failed on, while laughing and mocking us the whole time. You know what, Matt? That's an interesting perspective to put it in. And it's so different. Like if you only invest a couple hundred or maybe 1,000 to 15 to 2,000, your view of the team is going to be a lot different than you invest a lot more. And everybody says invest only what you're willing to lose, right? And that's true, and it's on you because you chose to invest it. But at the same time, you're investing based on the trust that you have with the team. So it's not like a team can say, oh, only invest what you're willing to lose, but they're also promising you all these things that they don't do, and then they do the opposite. So that's where people always try to force accountability to one side or the other. Like when the surge hack happened with Mark, everybody that lost money wanted to blame Mark. And it's like, hey, Mark's responsible, but also you're responsible as well. It's like this weird thing where we're all responsible for our own actions. And like we seem to like remove that mind. I'm not trying to tell you, Matt, but I mean, I'm sure you already know you are responsible, but at the same time, they are responsible for what they've done as well. It's not one or the other. That's all I'm trying to say. Gratefully Dedicated says 8 reasons some of us have no choice at this point in too deep. Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I invest in projects that I think are crap and I hold them down to zero, and I'm just going to have to like, what you guys can do, and I'm sure you guys already know this, is that if you invest in a project like that 40K you got, Matt, here's a great thing you can do. If you ever make a ton of money, right? If you ever make 40K in crypto and you cash that out, you can sell your safe at your loss, which would be, I don't know, a 90-something% loss probably, and then deduct that, and you'll be able to deduct a huge amount off of what you lost. And so you can use your losses to help your gains if you do make gains. And the great thing is, if you have guys, check this out. If you have a bunch of projects you invested in and they all went way down, like it's always going to be in your wallet. You can pull it up on BSC scan. You put in your wallet address, it'll show everything you hold. It'll also show all the people trying to scam you as well. But the ones that you actually bought. And what you can do is take the ones that you put like say 1,000 or more in and cash it out. You have to cash it out. You have to like go to a centralized exchange, cash it out, move it to your bank, even if it's like $1. And because it doesn't count until you cash it out, right? When I went to do my taxes, it was like, it's only if you cash it out. So even if you lost a ton of money, if you haven't cashed out that project, it's still not a loss, right? You have to like actually sell it for it to be considered a loss. So for the projects that are a loss, or if you think you have time to cash it out, so you can count it as that and then throw 100 back in, that's another thing you can do. So just a good way to take advantage of all these scams and losses that we have in crypto. That's why I want John Cronin to get the electric. Oh man, don't say that, Matt. Don't say that, bro. Prison, I understand, but it's not great to wish death on people. I know I have no choice. Got to hold. That's how a lot of people are, man. It's like, man, I got nothing. What am I supposed to do? Sell for $20, $100. What's up, CC? It's been a while, man. I still support you, and if you're being paid, get that bag, dude. But I wouldn't sign any contract or anything. And I hope if you sense something fishy, you'll let us know. Yeah, the only time, like if I did, I think I do have to sign something, to be honest. I already signed an NDA so that I can't talk about it. But as long as they are moral, like if they become immoral, then I would just quit covering them. I'd say, hey, this money, I can't take this money because I don't believe that my morals align with what it is that I'm covering. And I might just not be able to talk about that project because I get sued. But I guess you guys would know if I suddenly stopped talking about a project that I told you I was paid to be talked about, that there might be some issues there. But if I can talk about it, I will. But right now, the guys seem really cool. And the entire reason that they want me on there, to be a part of this and to talk about this is because they like my approach to it. They like my realistic approach instead of like it's Moon or it's a scam. It's kind of like trying to play this middle ground of coverage. So they saw my coverage and they really liked it. So, but yeah, man, that you don't have anything to worry about. That I have a conscience that won't let me just like, I don't want to screw people over. I want to help people make money. And I did that with Evergrow. Like, I don't know how many of you guys followed me into Evergrow, but a lot of people followed me into Evergrow. And, I was thinking about that recently, and I'm actually curious your guys' perspective on this because it was like, I made money off Evergrow because of my bag, right? And you could say that's my reward. And I made a little bit of money. You don't make much off of YouTube, guys. You have to make a ton of views to make a lot of money. You have to basically be famous or have a ton of views to be making money off of YouTube. But I think that there's this sense of like, I feel like I played a big part in making Evergrow grow, right? Not a small part. Not like, oh yeah, he kind of helped. I felt like I played a big role in why Evergrow did so well. and not a major, not like super major, but a one that's worthy of like, okay, I think most people knew about me. Most people knew about Crypto Control. They knew about Crypto Dreams, and people were like celebrating me in the Telegram. So, looking back, and I love Sam and I love Paul and I'm cool with them, but looking back, I'm just like, I feel like, does that deserve a reward, or is it better to just say, hey, yeah, you played a big role and all, and we appreciate that, but, thanks. Like that's what's like, hey, thanks, instead of like saying, hey, no, we wouldn't have been as successful as we were without you, here's a reward. So I've been kind of struggling with that on whether or not, because I feel like, hey, man, if I played a big role in like helping this project succeed, then why not a thank you? I'm not saying like give me a bag so I can dump on everybody. I'm just saying out of the profits that you guys have, why not, hook up the people that helped you? But maybe there's something wrong with that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Matt, we're all down. Nothing left to do but hold and hope at this point. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Jack of all trades says it all depends on what they are delivering. Only time will tell. Yeah, I meant they're saying the exchange, the NFT marketplace. I don't know, guys. I like the idea of an NFT marketplace. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think that it's a cool concept. Nobody really seems to be happy about that. Mr. Sinister says, I think everyone is tired of their crypto messages and BS. We just want the products realized. Otherwise, we need to find the team. And okay, gosh, guys, you quit threatening the team, guys. I think everyone is tired of the crypto keto diet. I'll DM you my pork rind crust pizza recipe at some point. Definitely helps when struggling to stick to the diet. Yeah, man. I'm stuck because I'm in keto right now, right? I'm having a little bit of milk because I have acid reflux, and that helps with my acid reflux. And that milk has a little bit of sugar in it, unless you get raw milk. But I'm probably going to switch to strict carnivore diet for at least like 3 months to see if that helps with some of the issues that I'm having. But I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Good morning, all you fine people. What's up, Michelle? How's it going? Good to see you back in the chat. Cincy Fan 987 says John is new at CEO, but they have experienced devs. That's what matters. Yeah, it's hard to tell what's going on behind the scenes, right? But they have the exchange done, right? I know that much. Matt Daniel says, no, I sold when the price was still more than double what it is. Nice, Matt. I'm glad you did, man. Most of us lost, so we were in the same boat. Yeah, Matt, we're all down. Most of us are down. It was about half my life savings. No, man, I'm so sorry, bro. That was a risky decision, It's so hard with crypto. It's like it feels like 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 100 projects actually do well, and that's what we're looking for. It's like it feels like better odds than a casino, but it's so risky. Like I have projects that I did the best on, like Evergrow, and I talked myself out of doing what I was going to do. I talked myself out of doing 1,000, and I did like 400, and that was when it was like really cheap. I didn't become a whale, but I got a decent bag for cheap. But I would have been like a tiny, whatever you want to classify, sea creature as. But I would have been that if I wouldn't have talked myself out of 1,000. And then other projects like Vetter, I don't know if you guys got in Vetter. I put in 1,000 on that one, and it just crashed, and it just sucked. And now it's down to like $40, man. That project did terrible. No matter what happens, this has been a great ride, and seeing the rise and fall of these cryptos. Learned a lot these past 3 years. Next run, 3 years, I'll be ready. That's a great perspective, gratefully dedicated, because it's like, here's how I feel, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel this way. We are early to crypto. Most people aren't into crypto. It's hard to get into crypto. We took the time to figure out like Trust Wallet and Gas and like all these things, and we're learning about smart contracts and all this stuff. And the rest of the world, it's like that's like a different language to them when you try to talk to them about DeFi. So I think that this sets us up for a really great opportunity in the future to learn from our mistakes and to build ourselves, into the future. Which is why, I recommend anybody, if you're super into DeFi, start a platform, start a Twitter, start a YouTube, and talk about those things. And like make your goal to actually help people and not to screw people over into like overhyping them or into convincing them that everything's a scam. Like either one of those is dishonest. So yeah, I think that it's a great setup for that. That's how I feel. I'm like, if we go on a bull run, man, I'll be there, and I'll be making good content on whatever projects need that good content, and I know how to make good content, and I can only get better, right? So I think anybody can take that approach and learn and grow, and you could probably make a career out of DeFi, unless DeFi goes a way that the whole world never expected and it all goes to hell and trash, which I don't think it's going to, right? I think regulations are probably going to have a pretty bad effect on it, but I think you can't get rid of DeFi no matter what. It's just, I think the real problem with DeFi is if governments manage to cut out centralized exchanges, it's like, how are you going to get your money? And maybe there's something that you guys know that I don't, but in my mind, I'm like, if exchanges, which have to operate legally, because that's how you get into your bank account, are gone, then, or being like severely overregulated, then how do you get your money? No matter what happens, okay, no things happen, quit crying, paper hands. What's up, Ezekiel? How's it going, man? Thanks for that. How do you go from Safemoon as a scam and Coronius going to prison that you weren't going to do Safemoon content anymore unless it was very important to last 8 of 10 your videos are all Safemoon? Yeah, I can explain that if you'd like. So I'm trying to decide what to do with this channel, and basically what I was doing before was I was looking at what was going on with Safemoon and I was covering it, whether it was good or bad. And I tried to stay positive unless there was something really bad that happened. And I couldn't go back to being positive unless that bad thing was addressed, right? Like when Hank and Thomas quit, I'm like, oh, this is bad. I can't just go make Safemoon to $1 million video if like while Thomas and Hank are quitting. Like that'd be a dumb thing to do. So I keep going back and forth on what I want to do with this channel, because this channel was built off of Safemoon. And, a lot of people misunderstand what that means. I know that some people want to say, and there's actually a mix here, is that I realized when I started covering Safemoon that as long as you say something positive about Safemoon, people love you. And I believed in Safemoon. It wasn't like I was lying to them. I was like, yeah, I love Safemoon. Let's do this. Let's make this succeed. Let's work together. And everybody was like, hell yeah, Crypto Control. We love you, man. I'm like, hey, I love you guys too. This is awesome. And then bad things happen. I was like, oh man, this is concerning. And they were like, oh, you futter. And I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm a futter? And so, I've kind of experienced like both sides of this, but basically I'm trying to decide what is the best way to move this channel forward. I know it's weird to like kind of like not see me in this negative view that you have, and just put yourself outside of yourself and consider, what if you had done a YouTube channel and you covered something and then you became convinced that bad things had gone on, and those bad things are not being addressed. How do you move that channel forward, right? Do you just throw it away? Should I just never post a Crypto Control again? Should I talk about other projects? And there's a lot to this, man. It's not a simple thing as like, oh, you said you're going to do this and you shouldn't do this. The YouTube algorithm recognizes my channel as an authority on the subject of Safemoon. If you start a YouTube channel, you have to very quickly find your niche, or YouTube needs to know, hey, what are you covering, so we can know who to promote you to. That's what it's trying to figure out. And for me, it was Safemoon. So YouTube's like, hey, Crypto Control, Safemoon. Like that's how it sees it in its mind. So if I try to tell it something else, it's going, no, we thought you were Safemoon. So this channel was built on Safemoon, and I'm the one who did that. I know people like don't like to give credit to that. They like to say we built you, and it's like, no, you guys. I appreciate you guys did play a role in building this channel because you guys subscribed and you guys supported me. But at the same time, if I was putting out crap content, you guys wouldn't have been watching. If I was lying to you guys wouldn't have been watching. It's because I like put a lot of effort to make videos that you guys would enjoy. So in one sense, it is because of the Safemoon army and their desire to see Safemoon content. In the other sense, it's because I worked hard to put out valuable content. So now I'm stuck between what do I do with this channel and how do I move it forward? And part of me is like, I want to just move on and just cover crypto, but the views are going to be low. And it's like, how much time do you have to dedicate to a video? Because you can't put out a crap video. In order to not put out a crap video, by the way, guys, takes a couple hours. And so if I'm putting 2 to 3 hours into a not so great video, that's probably going to get 400 to 500 views. That's about $4 to $5 for three to 5 plus hours of work. I mean, a lot of people don't consider this, and that's taxed 30%. You know what I mean? I have taxes that I have to pay on everything I make from YouTube. So even if I happen to make $20 off of a video because it gets 2,000 views, I owe 30% of that to taxes. And it's so funny that people get upset about that, but they don't care about John like being a millionaire. Like, that's fine, but me making $20 off a video that I spent hours on is not okay. And it's just like that just blows my freaking brain out in both directions to even like think that that's logical. But yeah, man, I'm basically I'm stuck between just covering crypto with Crypto Control and still providing a place that I think is needed for Safemoon. And I think that giving a place to voice to all you guys, to give you guys voices, right? If anybody wants to follow me on Twitter and you want to come up in a Twitter space and say something, whether you have a story, Matt Daniel, if you wanted to tell your story, I think that's a great story. I don't know if you want it to be told, because a lot of it is embarrassing. A lot of people's stories are embarrassing, and it's like, do you really want to bring attention to that? Well, some people do. Some people don't, some people do. So it's just up to the individual. But I like creating a place to amplify the voices of the community, of people who have been hurt. Like, there's people that are upset about Mooncraft. I didn't really know that. I was like, oh, Mooncraft, that's like, okay, whatever. But there's other people who were like really invested in it. And then they just gave it away. And then they felt like betrayed by the team, right? Because they were so heavily invested in that. It might seem dumb to some of you guys, but to other people, it's like these are real people's lives that are being affected. And everybody has this story. And all these stories are being buried underneath the title of FUD and unbelievers and paper hands, right? Oh, shut up, you paper-handed, unbelieving, whatever, fudder, you paid fudder, you're probably being paid. It's like nonsense, right? So for me, I'm like, this space needs a place where both perspectives can be presented and where voices don't get buried. So I kind of want to amplify your guys' voices, the community's voices, and I want to be that place. Because like, if I'm not there, and I'm not saying like, oh, Safemoon needs Crypto Control, but I'm just saying, if you go look at the history of Safemoon, when things went down with Thomas, I was the only YouTuber covering those things. I'm not trying to say I'm better than the other YouTubers. I like the other YouTubers, and some of their content's better than mine because they're really good. But I was the one that was like, hey, let's cover this while it's happening. And I tried to do it with the unbiased perspective as well, even though I wanted Safemoon to go to the moon. If you go look at my live streams, you'll see that every time I covered Ryan, I covered Thomas quitting, I covered the CoffeeZilla stuff. And I always did it even though I was getting attacked and it was destroying my channel, which was how I make a living, which I was finally able to make a living off YouTube. Not like rich, but to get by and not have to worry about the bills. Wasn't rich, wasn't like going out spending tons of money, but I could pay the bills and have food, right? Off of YouTube, which is an amazing feeling to be able to do that for yourself. For me, I've never done that in my point in my life. I know some of you guys own businesses and stuff and are like way beyond that. But for me, that was amazing. So yeah, I don't know. Let me move to the next comic. When blockchain. CC, you should probably pray about that. Oh, I pray about it a lot. Trust me. I ask God all the time to like heal me and help me. D stat flash, that was bear market does to people. Me selling at more than double the current price is still more than a 90% loss. Yeah, and that's another thing is like, I hate the conversations go this way, but it's just really important to remember for next time. If you get into a project, do not convince people to buy or hold or sell. Just don't do that. You can say how you feel, but always follow up with how you feel but I don't know what's going to happen. It could be bad, it could be good. And because if everybody who was convincing people to buy the dips for the past couple of years has been helping them lose money, right? That mindset lost money. All those people could have sold and bought back in with a fraction of what they sold, the same amount of tokens, right? And so it's like, that's why you don't tell people what to do, because you don't want to be responsible for it. You can point people to things and tell them how you feel, but you need to acknowledge that it's a risk and that you don't know and that it's up to them. I started trading crypto with 16K, made lots of money off Doge and XLM. When I saw what Safemoon was going to do, I sold out of those two and went in on Safemoon. It was the day that Thomas confirmed that. I believe 2023. Hey, what's up, Jero? How's it going? I believe that 2023 will start to turn around. 2024 will be the year of crypto. Just my belief. Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes the bear markets last a while. We might be in for a rough couple of years before we see another bull market. I hope not. I hope it's sooner than later, but I feel like sometimes they last years sometimes, don't they? He passed up a $2 million deal on XRP, which we later found out was all bullcrap. Yeah, I know. I remember that. I remember being bullish on that. And then we found out it was like an email. And then they reached out to them and asked them. And they said, no, we don't know who that is. And it was like, what the hell is going on? For anyone who's sold, thanks for the reflections. Whale Hunter. Hey, what's up, Whale Hunter? How you doing, man? Hey, old friend, what's up, Ezekiel F? How you doing, bro? I had turned my 16K into 40K, then kept buying more every so often with my paychecks. By the time I cashed out, all I could get was 5K. I'm sorry, man. It's rough. Even though it's like that was you risking it, it's still a terrible feeling, right? Like the worst feeling I've ever had is going into a casino and losing money that I needed. I don't know if you guys ever done that. Like you take your last like 20, 40, 60, 80, $100 and it just goes down the drain, and it goes down the drain so fast. And you're like, that was food and gas, and what the hell am I thinking? You know what I mean? So I'm done with casinos after that experience. I'm okay with crypto though. Losing money on crypto for some reason is not nearly as bad as losing money in casinos for me. So this is about you and your money, not Safemoon. The conversation's open to go to all topics. Hit the like, guys. Yeah. If you guys want to hit the like button, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, Mooncraft, exactly. Yeah, you're the only Safemoon content creator who considers both sides. All others are either for it or crap on it. So really, you are kind of the only one with any real substance. Well, here's the thing: is I'm friends with Moon Boy, Dark Moon Tim, Safemoon Joe, Crypto Atlas. We're all cool with each other. I haven't talked to RJ that much, but me and him are like cool with each other, as far as I know. So it's not that I dislike them. It's like, do you destroy yourself, right? You know, it's like kind of like being a whistleblower. It's another topic. I'll try not to take too long, but it's like, do you go out and call out the corruption of the government and have your life destroyed, right? If you're an insider in the government and you see there's massive corruption going on, you know that they're going to paint you as a traitor. They're going to put you in jail. They're going to silence you. They're going to come after you. They're going to come after your family. Edward Snowden did that. So it's like you have to consider the risks of that. And like if you've built the channel that you're making profit off of, that people love you for, I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing to do. Some people just stopped covering Safemoon. Safemoon Michael, everybody loved him. He was basically, Safemoon Michael was kind of like the number one Safemoon YouTuber. And then Safemoon Joe underneath him, in my opinion. Everybody loved Safemoon Michael's professionalism and how he covered things and his upbeatness and his voice. So what's going on, guys? My Safemoon family, I forget how he said it, but something like that. But, he quit covering it. And it's like, do you destroy your channel, your revenue? Do you destroy what you've built in order to tell the truth? And that's a tough decision to make. But for me, it was an easy decision to make. So I'm like, obviously you do that. You speak the truth. And if people hate you for it, let them hate you. And if you're wrong, you can just admit you're wrong and say, oh, sorry, I was wrong about that. It just happened to be that we weren't wrong about anything the entire time. We were right every step of the way. We were right about Thomas. I was right about Ryan. And then unfortunately, everything appears to be right about John and the blockchain. And there's not everything just does not appear to support that. And I was like, I got frustrated after the Ryan thing. I was like, you guys are frustrating the hell out of me, because I told you guys, I made a video today that said, guys, I think Ryan's thinking about quitting. And then a bunch of people agreed with me, a bunch of reasonable people. Like, yeah, that looks like Ryan's basically saying that there's some issues going on, and if he can't keep his integrity in the future of the project, he's going to leave. But a lot of people attacked me and said I was mindless, paid fodder, that I was stupid, that I was pulling things out of nothing. When I looked at Ryan's tweets, people said I was pulling things out of nothing and mocking me. And it was like, you guys got to wake the hell up, because not only are you wrong, so you're not helping investors make right decisions because of how you're coming at this, but you're also like mocking, attacking, defaming. You're like hurting me, and you're hurting everybody that tells you the truth. The people that are doing good to you, you're hurting. And the people that are helping you lose money and deceiving you, you're helping. And it's just like, so I got pretty frustrated. I was like, dude, wake up, guys. And then when the coffee stuff came out, I was like, guys, how many times we got to continue to be right? I'm not saying we are right, but maybe just don't act like we're freaking idiots. When we were right about Thomas and them, because we had our eyes open, we looked at the Hank audio, all that stuff. We looked at the Ryan audio. We looked at all that stuff. And now CoffeeZilla brings out all this information, and we look at all that stuff, and we say, hey, this is actually concerning, and you can see it on the blockchain, and you can see John's Moondog, and you can see John's $2.25 million house, and you see that he has tons of money, and you can see that the liquidity wasn't being added to PancakeSwap from Bitmart. Does this, and that just, we're just going to assume that all that's gravy. John probably made an amazing investment and didn't do anything wrong, and he's not willing to tell us that he didn't take from the liquidity pool. Like, it's like, guys, I don't want to be right, but I think we are. I think we are right, those of us that are looking at this and saying that. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily guarantees that Safemoon will fail, but you need to understand that that's a reasonable conversation that people need to have when they're investing. Some people are investing 20 to 40K. They can't just go around going, no, everything bad is good and everything good. Like, you can't do that. So if you're doing that, you are being dishonest to yourself and to other people, and you got to stop that. You got to wake up and have a more realistic approach to these conversations. Thank you, DStat Flash. I appreciate that, man. Evan M. What's up, man? Not Safemoon was a different project. Oh, yeah, Not Safemoon by, what was that guy's name? That bald guy. Being called a paid fudder is so damn ridiculous because I never promote other coins. Like, who would pay me to FUD Safemoon, who already FUDs itself, and not promote any other token? 100%, Matt Daniel, that's 100%. Nobody just sits there and FUDs a project. When people do that, they do that in order to get you to get in on their project that they usually have whitelist spots on. I've been in the space, and it's very rare that people will be being paid to FUD a project. It might happen. If somebody really hates another project, they might have a couple people that maybe have some influence to say, hey, I'll give you a little bit to cover this in a negative light. I can see that happening, but generally speaking, it's not happening. People are not going to waste money on that. They'd probably rather spend money promoting their project. And that's another thing that like people didn't understand. I was going to like do this my own crypto thing. I was going to do my own crypto thing, and I still have some really cool ideas. And everybody said that I was crapping on Safemoon to steal their investors. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If I was trying to take Safemoon's investors, I'd say Safemoon to the moon and then watch everybody fly into my project. Instead, once again, and I'm not trying to like say I'm a saint, because I know I'm just as good as everybody else, and none of us are really good people. You know, we all do bad things. We do good things and bad things. I'm not trying to say I'm a saint, but once again, I took the hit of a project that I was working on being attacked at the cost of telling these people the truth, of speaking the truth. And I didn't do it because I wanted to just bring that attention. I did it because I'd already set myself up as a source of perspective and information within the community. And yeah, I had people saying, projects. Chris Harris said my project was dead on arrival without knowing a single damn thing about what it was that I was doing. He said that, and he promoted that to the people on Twitter. And this guy, unfortunately, is one of the most two-faced people I've ever met, because before that, he was trying to talk to me about God and stuff, and how God had basically told him that Safemoon was going to do well. And he never apologized. I mean, this guy's behavior is absolutely disgusting, and that guy needs to, like, apologize for how he's been to everybody and change his behavior, because it's unreal, the level of like two-facedness. You know what I mean? It's like somebody hates you, that's fine, but if somebody pretends to be your friend and tries to be cool with you and acts like you're their buddy and then betrays you, it's like that's the worst type of person that you could be around. But yeah, I agree with you, Matt Daniel, as far as the paid fudders. It's usually not paid fudders. It's just an excuse to discredit somebody who's bringing up good points. Safemoon and crypto control are synonymous in the history books for all of eternity. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate that, man. Jacob Burgess, how's it going, man? Blockchain imminent. All crypto is at huge loss at the moment. Buy and bear, sell and bull. Crypto 101. Am I the only one afraid to use Safemoon's orbital shield? Yeah, I wouldn't use that. A lot of people appear to have lost their money on that. Jacob Burgess says, bull comes at Bitcoin halving. You got 1 year millionaires are made here. So there's a couple things to that. When we say Safemoon is only down because of the bull market. Safemoon was going down before the bull market. Safemoon is not down because of the bull market. Safemoon is down because of not delivering on... They promised an exchange in blockchain 2 years ago. The team left. That's always like one of the most concerning things with a project, is when the team starts dropping out. Everybody left but John. And then Ryan came on, and then we all were like, yes, Ryan saved the day with the wallet. And then Ryan got quit or fired. You know, I think Ryan tried to quit, and then John tried to fire him, and they said, no, I fired you first. And he said, no, I quit first. And it was like, no, I'm pretty sure John wouldn't have fired Ryan unless Ryan's going to quit. And he just wanted to make it look like they got rid of the bad thing, because that's what people keep assuming in their mind, is like, oh, John's cleaning house. John's always right. This young guy is always doing the right thing, and everybody else is fools and idiots and evil. Very interesting way to approach a subject. But when it comes to Bitcoin going up does not guarantee that all coins are going, or all tokens are going to go up. Like, yeah, Bitcoin goes up, BNB goes up, Safemoon should go up. Probably not nearly as much as you might think. It'll have an opportunity to, if it can do well in producing FOMO through the release of products or other methods. That's really all there is to it. But, you know, I really don't like when people try to blame Bitcoin being down on their project. Like, it plays a role, but ultimately projects can still do well. Projects can still do well in any market apart from Bitcoin. Bitcoin does affect your project, but it's like your project either sucks or it doesn't, and your project's either doing well or not based on its own merit. You can't like say like, oh yeah, it's all Bitcoin, because when the price goes up, we don't give credit to Bitcoin. We give credit to the project. You just have to be like really realistic with every method here. Congrats on your 0.03 of reflections. Obviously, he doesn't know the meaning of imminent. He said he's bringing the word back this year. Safemoon Joe, a sellout, is what Franklin said. Why do you feel like Safemoon Joe's a sellout, Frank? Matt Daniel says losing money on a gamble is perfectly fine with me as long as there is no cheating. John stealing from the LP and lying about deadlines is like cheating. It's a royal flush up their sleeves. Oh, yeah. Well, and I agree with you, Matt, but for me, it's like when we invest in any crypto project, we know that that's a risk, that the team might be whales, that they might have access to the liquidity pool and all those things. So it's like that's also something that we invest knowing that it's a possibility. As much as it sucks, it's like we knew when I invest in anything, I know that there's the potential, as trustworthy as any project appears to be, that they might have access to the liquidity, or they might be whales that we don't know about and they might sell. And they might have just divided. What these whales do is insane, guys. They divide their wallet into a bunch of different wallets, so it looks like there's a bunch of whales in the project. And it's just like one guy who's selling off his wallets. The opportunity to scam people is insane in this space. And the honest person is usually rejected, and it's the scammers that are like glorified until they're like really caught. I saw 30K in my account. What's up, Marcus? Sure. How's it going, bro? Before the launch of the Safemoon wallet, and should have sold. I thought it was working and held. Thought it was a cool new startup company, but 32 million missing. What the 8 reasons. What's up, man? Good to see you. My Safemoon friends, my Safemoon family. Yeah, that was it. I love Michael. He's such a good guy. Hopefully, like, here's the thing I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that some great project comes out that we all get in on early, that we can be bullish about, that doesn't. Because, like, here's what I said earlier, is that being a maxi wasn't a problem. It was when all the bad things happened that being a maxi became a problem. If Safemoon didn't give us reasons to not be maxis, the maxi mindset would have done well. It would have paid off if they would have just kept doing it. And they had a massive community behind any product that they pushed. We were going to push it for them. We were going to use it. We were going to pump the numbers. It was going to be number one. I mean, John's an idiot. John's an absolute dumbass. To have basically the best thing handed to him. And here's the problem is he made himself rich. He took care of himself. And like, that's the problem I see in this space is if you make a project, did John get into Safemoon because he wanted to change DeFi and help the investors out, or did he get into it as an opportunity to make money? Because if John got into Safemoon to make money and he was living in a trailer before, and now he's rich and now he has everything that he needs, John does not lack in anything. He's probably good when it comes to money for the rest of his life. He probably has assets he can sell if he starts to lose money and can get a cheaper place. I mean, John is probably so when he's good to go. What motive does he really have other than the pressure of the Safemoon army to actually make this project succeed? And for me, it's like he should not be living rich until he's done what he's promised. And the exact opposite happened. And I think it made it less likely that what was promised would happen. And it's more of like a couple of guys who know a little bit about crypto sitting around thinking of ideas and trying to test things out. I mean, John literally said with the blockchain, he said that what they were working on was scalability and that one thing, and that he was talking to some game developer and that they said that it would never work with blockchain. And then John said that what they had going for the blockchain, if I'm interpreting this correctly, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I saw, they had to scrap everything that they had planned on doing based off of a conversation with the gaming guy putting a game on a blockchain. And it was like, okay, this isn't professionals. This isn't like the experts in the space or these new, Elon Musk in the space that are taking us to the next level. It's like some people that maybe know a little bit about blockchain and just kind of winging it, trying to make things for a ton of people that they happen to follow them. Safemoon area, Safemoon 32 live with your own decisions, guys and gals. What's up, Edgy Safemoon? How you doing? And you know what really sucks is like I try to be unbiased, but how many bad things can they do? And it's like if I just talk about what they're doing, it makes me sound like a fudder. You know what I mean? It's crazy. If I talk about John having all that money, or the team leaving, or Kyle starting it as it all is negative. It's like, and that's where I try to point out that the FUD is not coming from the people talking about it. The FUD is coming from the people doing it. And the people doing it was John and his team. That's where the FUD is coming from. You know what I mean? That's like somebody murdering somebody and me talking about their murder. And people says, oh, that's old news that happened yesterday, bro. Why are you still talking? Why are you bringing up old crap? And I'm like, but he murdered somebody. And they're like, no, but he's the one doing it. Yeah, but why are you talking about it? You're trying to hurt my price. So you're giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though he's the one doing these things. And you're mad at me for talking about these things, saying that I'm having a negative effect on you. So like, if you found that the Safemoon Maxi is a double-edged sword, it's like, it's great if you're a believer, and man, it is not good. And that's what I told people, is that the Safemoon glasses, if you put the Safemoon Maxi glasses on, you're not going to be able to see reality. You're likely going to be judging people for things that aren't true, giving John the benefit of the doubt and the team the benefit of the doubt, and you're going to be unable to see negative things that are coming your way, even when the signs are heavily pointing towards it, like team leaving or projects not coming out or fraud happening. So it's very important to take those glasses off, guys. Just be realistic. Useless as usual. What's up, Michael John? How you doing, man? Yeah, Joe did that and people got rug pulled. Oh, on that one project he talked about? Well, you know, it's hard to know if a project is a good project or not. It can appear to be great and then be a rug. You know what I mean? It's a difference between, like, you know, if there was obvious signs that it was going to rug, that's one thing. Like when I covered Squid Grow, I was like, hey guys, they have access to the liquidity and the main guy's not doxxed. I was like, I can't cover this as if that's not true. I've always like put the worst details out. So, and Squid Grow, you know, it went down a lot and then it went up a lot. And it's like Squid Grow actually might have potential to make a little bit of money off of. I think they're actually getting ready to do some type of migration or something, and I think the price might go up, guys. If you want to take a chance with Squid Grow, you could look into it. I think there might be an opportunity to make a little bit of money. It just went up a decent amount, but then it went back down a little bit. But that's how it goes. It can't just go up forever. Remember that day, bro? I stopped following him after that. Oh, when Joe talked about that project and then it got rugged. I think it did well before it got rugged, though. What is a diehard Safemoon Maxi? Oh, was a diehard Safemoon Maxi. What's up, Tobias? But trust was lost ruthlessly, and yet people still have their eyes closed. I've moved on to bigger and better things. No imminent, no silly Twitter games, just hard work. For sure, man. Yeah, for sure. Franklin says, I don't trust bald people after Joe did us like that. Oh, you don't trust Andrew Tate, man? CEO John Croney. I got the Safemoon because I'm the GOAT. I missed you, man. It's good to see you back in the chat. You are the GOAT. Any good updates to Safemoon? No, not right now, no. Check out Brew Labs. It's what Safemoon should have done. They had the resources for it. I've used Brew Labs before for staking and stuff. He pumped his channel telling everyone to buy while he was selling in the background. How is he not a sellout? He don't even own Safemoon. Well, it's one thing to tell people to sell, or telling people to buy while you're selling. Yeah, like that makes you a scammer. But I don't know if that's what he's doing. I'd have to see the evidence of that with Joe. But actually, I do know what you're talking about. Safemoon Joe was upset and turned on the project when he was told he could not use Safemoon's name to sell whatever it was he was selling. Here's the thing, guys, and I'll be real quick. People have turning points. Everybody has a different turning point. Some people it was Thomas. Some people it was Ryan. Some people it was the wallet not coming out. Some people it was the exchange and blockchain not coming out. Some people it was CoffeeZilla's information. Everybody has a different turning point. Some people haven't had a turning point yet. So it's hard to judge what people's turning points are. But with Joe, I think they were doing some type of like Safemoon, 30 Safemoon thing, NFTs with a group of influencers, and everybody had a really bad reaction to it. Like everybody's okay with John and the team profiting off of them, but nobody else, unless you're on the swap partner. And apparently they'd had a discussion with Safemoon behind the scenes that they were okay with it and they would agree to it. And then they got backlash, and then they said that this is their story, their side of the story at least, that Safemoon basically pulled back after they saw the backlash. And so then they felt betrayed. And then I think that is what led Joe into feeling like, hey, you guys said you had our back. You don't have our back. And so that's enough for me. I'm going to start looking into like all this stuff I've been listening to. I will probably agree that there did seem to be a degree of not the most honest approach that Joe had, but you know, we can't all be perfect. As far as like, well, we were already talking to Joe about all that negative stuff, like Crypto CoffeeZilla and all that stuff. And me and Joe have always been cool with each other. We're actually cool with each other. We haven't talked in a minute, but we're cool with each other. But we talked about that stuff, and he was like fully going against coffee. And then it was like, okay, well, you fully disagree with this information until this thing happened with you in Safemoon. And it might just, that's all it takes. It's like, it's to what degree of betrayal do you have to feel before you finally turn around and start looking at things? And for Joe, I think it was the Safemoon NFT thing. And then he finally was like, that's enough bullcrap. And then he started looking around, and he got super pissed off. He got more pissed than anybody, and like doxed John's house basically, and got a letter from Safemoon. It was actually kind of funny. Safemoon Joe was upset and turned on the, okay. Tobias says, literally just mentioned the project you speak of. Safemoon could have been monumental, but it chose not to. Hopefully some can read between the lines here. I'm not sure what you mean. Is John here? Oh, no, there's a guy that pretends to be the CEO, and he's like always in the YouTube chat. It's kind of funny. Do you remember a YouTuber called Safemoon Positivity? He kind of disappeared, but I remember on a video he cried hard and said it's beautiful how Safemoon will change the world. Hope he's alive. So, yeah, Safemoon Positivity. I'm actually like, we're friends as well. We haven't really talked. He reached out to me probably a couple weeks ago and said, hey, what's up, man? And I said, hey, how's it going? And then he didn't respond. So it's like, people get busy. But yeah, me and him were cool. We actually talked. Actually, I think I gamed with him once. We played some games together. Andrew Simon says, hi, just tuned in. Is there still a chance of Safemoon in your opinion? Well, yeah, I think there's still a chance. I just, in my opinion, and I don't know the future. I don't know what's coming, right? I don't know everything that's going on to know whether or not some deal might end it. Like, there could be something going on in the scenes where John goes to jail. There could be something going on in the scenes where John has this huge person that wants to work with him. I mean, every project that is less than Safemoon wants to work with Safemoon to get its exposure from the Safemoon army to buy their project. That's Swap Partners is them selling the Safemoon army. Safemoon makes a profit. They have to pay 50 to 200 grand to be a swap partner or more. And then you get promoted another project by Safemoon themselves. Whereas if anybody else had done that besides Safemoon themselves, they would be seen as using Safemoon name to promote to other people and as evil. Like, right? Like, I did that with Evergrow, but I acknowledged that I did with Evergrow because Chris Harris tried to turn all the Twitter people that were following him on the Safemoon YouTubers. And I think he did it out of jealousy because he didn't like how much control and influence they had. He tried to destroy the Safemoon YouTubers because they all promoted Drip. And they said that they were using Safemoon's name to promote another project. And you just keep seeing, and it's like, the point is not to like sit here and crap on people. But you keep seeing hypocrisy at every turn. It's never John's fault. You can't talk about Safemoon and talk about other projects, but the team can. You can't make it $20 off a video that you spent 3 to 4 hours making, but the team can make millions off of nothing, just having access to liquidity pool and getting swap partners listed that can make $200,000. That's okay, but you can't make $20 off a video that you spent hours making. Like, guys, making a video is not easy. If any of you guys do YouTube, it's not like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? Upload. That's it. It's like so much work. It's record. It's script. Record, edit, sound effects, music, intro, outro, title, thumbnail, description, tags. It's like insane the amount of effort that goes into it. Even if you try to make quick videos, it's hard to make quick videos. I just like to have the facts. Either way, I see indicators good and bad. Yeah, Jake. I do see a lot of bad indicators, but I see the potential for good indicators. Nine Kings, what's up, man? I remember buying into this when it first started. I keep forgetting this thing exists until I see these notifications pop up. No surprise, it still is in the same spot as it was in the beginning. Yeah, it is, except the price is way down. Tobias says we have AccuBits, Crypto Magazine, Sphinx Labs, Blockbin, just to name a few in our corner. Not another crap fly project. Fly-by-night project, finally something real. Tate a phony. He is the Matrix. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, people talk about red pill. But you can apply red pill to any idea. It's just that you're not awake to the truth and you need to take this pill to wake up. Well, that's just like, you don't see reality for what it is. And if Tate thinks that he's completely awake to reality, then he's still in the Matrix, right? Nobody is fully awake to reality. Will Safemoon ever will touch all-time high? I don't know, Kamaji. I do not know, my dude. It doesn't take years to develop and launch a blockchain. Had ours live Polygon within 6 months. Poo chain under the radar at market cap and still considered ground level. Mike drop. What's up, Michelle? Proof of stake while functioning blockchain. Papa did say Safemoon could be the Google of crypto DeFi, but that could just be hype. What you think of Grove? As far as Grove, I don't know. I haven't studied Grove, but I mean, I've heard a lot of sketchy things, and I've heard people upset, but I haven't seen them get answers. I tend to not trust projects, you know, especially when you watch how things worked out. Like Grove, I wasn't really paying attention to it, to be honest. I was listening to the spaces and stuff, and I saw people were really upset with Grove and the launch and how they lost money, and like Fallacy, that guy's selling. Because really, like, if you're a dishonest person, the best way to make money in DeFi is to scam people. It's the easiest, best way to do it. I mean, you might go to jail, so you need to keep that in mind. But all you have to do is convince people that you're doing something amazing, and then take their money, and then do something crappy, or just never do it, right? And that's what people are trying to do over and over and over again. My idea is something like really cool. It's something really cool, actually. Like, I'm not saying it will work out or it's guaranteed, but the idea is like actually decentralizing something, in a way that projects aren't decentralized, in a great way that projects aren't decentralized. I love this idea. So what I wanted to do, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys see that on your screen? What do you guys think of this image on the screen? Does that look pretty cool to you? Hey, Michelle, good to see you. If Squid Grow token moons and Safemoon token stays flat all year, then Joe can spike the football. I do like Moonboy and his FUD videos. Yeah, he's pretty funny sometimes. Losing money, but highly entertaining in return. Yeah, he lost a lot of money on Safemoon. I like Moonboy. He's cool. Me and him, I think, disagree. I think a lot of the YouTubers are like, no, Safemoon's done. And I'm like, well, guys, maybe we don't know. You know? So I'll just explain a little bit. I've gotten into Midjourney AI art, and basically I started messing around with the Safemoon symbol and making really cool stuff. And then I also have this other program called Photo Mirage. So what you guys see in front of you is I took the Safemoon symbol and I can add any word to it. I could make a city. I could make anything. And then I pick the image I get, you know, AI art. I can mess with it, and then I get the one I want, and then I go and then I take that picture and then I mess with the coloring to make it look as good as possible. And then I take it and I put it in this program to add movement to it. So I use the Safemoon symbol to make this, and it's like this giant symbol that looks a lot like the Safemoon symbol sitting on a lake. I made it so that the ring in the middle looks like it's moving in a circle, while the water looks like it's moving, while the sky looks like it's moving. It's like a really cool thing. So yeah, I think what I wanted to do was like make a line of NFTs, and people can either get them or not get them, and have those NFTs tied to the project. So kind of would be like, if you get these NFTs, then it's basically, if the project does well, the people who own these NFTs are going to get rewarded, right? That's the idea. It's like, it's not just, oh, here's an NFT that has no value, you know? So it's not only do you get a really cool looking NFT, and you also support me, because the entire idea of the NFTs is, hey, this is 100% about just supporting me, but also I've tied these other things to it. It's purely, do you like this art? Do you want to support me? But also I wanted to tie it to this project that I have an idea for, which I think is a really great idea. Maybe it'll flop. Maybe it'll be a total flop. But even if my project flopped, it would not be bad for the investors, actually, because of how it's designed. So I really do want to get that out. It just kind of comes down to the coding and making sure it's audited and safe, and from bad actors, because that's really what you're trying to protect from, is all the bad actors. Oh, but I really just wanted to hang out with you guys again. You know, we stopped doing the weekly AMAs, and we stopped doing the videos, so I didn't see you guys as much in comments and stuff. So I just wanted to reach out to you guys and catch up with you guys. Jake says this year will be the year Safemoon Buster goes up. I think it will go up. They honestly initially messed up giving a deadline that they didn't meet. They should have set a real time frame to start. End of the world, what's up, man? What's your opinion about this whole proof of authority blockchain and the possibility of just giving authority to themselves and their buddies? It seems like even more centralized, in my opinion, based off what I've researched, because I don't know, there's always like proof of authority, but it can be done in all these different ways. So it's like things always start to get really complex for me. You know, maybe some of you guys understand it all and it's all like very simple and clear, but when I start researching stuff, it always seems to be like, this is how it is, but it could be this way and it might be this way, and there's these different things, and it's like, oh my gosh. It's like when your teacher teaches you how to do a problem, and then you get the test, and every problem is how she taught you to do it. It doesn't apply to those new problems, and you have to figure out how to do these new problems. I hated that. I'm like, if it was what you showed me, I would have been able to do it, but this is not what you showed me. This is different. And I'm too stupid to figure it out. But Thomas thought proof of authority was a good idea. I have another really smart guy who is probably going to come on who disagrees. He thinks proof of authority is a bad idea. And I'll probably be doing a space with him soon and posting that to YouTube so you guys can listen to that. And let me know your opinion on Kark. Unless he changes his mind, Kark is supposed to come on and talk about proof of authority. And he just thinks it's a bad idea. Kark is really about decentralization. But yeah, like I said, guys, I just kind of wanted to see you guys, hang out with you guys for a minute. Looking forward to that. Yeah. I hope you enjoy it. BBTF, I haven't looked into it to have an honest opinion, but everything they've done looked really bad, to be honest. Everything BBTF did is everything you shouldn't do, in my opinion, for a project. The gas fees were too high. People didn't get their rewards. The launches were bad. People couldn't sell. The project went way down. People never got the rewards. They finally got their rewards. It was like much later. It seemed like, and that's what it was. It's like you build a name in a space and then you launch a project, make a bunch of money, you get rich, everybody else gets screwed. That's not a good way to do things. Like, I'm okay with the leaders of a project doing well if their project does well, but you should not be doing well while your project sucks. Can we agree on that? You know what I mean? So I disagree as well, and Thomas, in my opinion, is a sketchy greaseball. Well, oh, you disagree with the proof of authority? Yeah, because it was like, maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. But it seems like the validators is like, that's like how a blockchain works, right? And you have the miners with Bitcoin, you know, the proof of work, and then with the, you have like proof of stake where you stake your coins, and then you have a chance to get more coins based on the amount you're staking. If you have a higher amount, you have a better chance of getting more. And there's all these different consensus methods of verifying nodes on a blockchain. And proof of authority is like, it seems to be that they decide who are the validators. And that's where I talked to Thomas, and the conversation seemed to change a little bit from what I thought proof of authority was. I thought proof of authority was like the team decides. You have to KYC, or I guess there's other methods of whatever it is that determines you to be a validator. And then they can blacklist people if they don't want, if they change their mind. The team, it's centralized. It's completely centralized to John and the team, having the ultimate authority over who the validators are. But when I started talking to Thomas, he said that like the validators get to determine who the validators are, and that's why if you ever get like 51% control, then you can like start to really change things with the project if you can get that type of control. But it's apparently a lot harder to get that type of control with proof of authority. I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things. That's like based off a little research I've done. Hey, CC, before you leave, tell me if you checked out Ron White's discoveries yet here on YouTube. The guy found Noah's Ark and the Ark of the Covenant. I'm so sorry, man. Let me just pull that up right now. I think I have seen that, but I haven't like watched too much. I'm just going to subscribe to him. I just subscribed to him, okay? So I'll definitely try to check out more of his stuff. Because that's the type of evidence that the mainstream media just wouldn't cover, you know? They don't want people knowing Jesus is real. Basically, the proof of authority is the validators are given authority based on vetting and reputation. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And, you know, it's always kind of frustrating because there's so much noise coming in two directions. There's so much like, Safemoon's going to the moon, and why are you doing this, and why talk about this, and why do that? And there's also like, Safemoon's a scam, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you kind of have to keep repeating the same things over and over again because where people are coming at you from, right? You kind of have to point out like, hey, you guys give John the benefit of the doubt, but everybody who questions John is like the spawn of Satan, right? It's like, does that really seem realistic to you? Like, surely there's a better way to phrase this. At least don't attack me. I didn't take from the liquidity pool, guys. I don't have access to the Safemoon liquidity pool. I didn't take it. I'm not a millionaire. I have it. The money I've made off of Safemoon is made off of the hard work that I've put into studying, you know, tokenomics and I don't know if people know this about me, but pretty much the only thing that I actually there's a couple of things I contributed to Safemoon, but the main thing I contributed to Safemoon was talking about wallets that didn't receive reflections, right? Because Mark brought up reflections, and then I went into like studying. I'm like, well, how do you know what your actual reflection should be? And I did that by finding out that you can use, you know, the blockchain to figure out what wallets aren't receiving reflections. You subtract those from the total supply. Then you divide your bag by the total supply, multiply it times volume, and the current daily volume, depending on what exchange you're on, or whether you're on PancakeSwap or Bitmart. And then you can get an idea of what your actual reflection should be, which it's not like guaranteed that's exactly what it should be, even though it should have been very close. But it was fun to break that down and to at least bring understanding to that, because a lot of people, it's very hard to get an idea of like where are all the tokens at and how are they being reflected to each other, right? So, I mean, I did bring some value to Safemoon with that. Also, another thing that people fought on that I kind of forgot about was the swap and evolve, right? Everybody thought, and it was portrayed to them to think this way, by the way, that swap and evolve had a more positive net effect on the charts. And I had to like fight tooth and nail in the Discord. People were saying I was wrong. I need to do research. I shouldn't be making videos if I don't know what I'm talking about. I had to fight like everywhere until we finally got to the point where they were like, okay, it's the same thing, but psychologically, it has a better impact. It's like, and people didn't realize that because, you know, swap and liquefy would build up a ton and then sell half, and then it would have the native token and the pair token, right, for liquidity. So you can insert both and, you know, raise liquidity. But swap and evolve, it slowly sells over a long period of time so that it can buy. But no matter what, it does it equally to swap and liquefy. The only thing is that a big dump on the charts probably looks better than you know, a bunch of small dumps on the charts. But either way, it's the same thing. And people really, on Safemoon, they didn't really understand that. They thought, oh, no. Swap and liquefy or swap and evolve is actually causing the price to go up. Positive price action instead of negative price action. And it's like, no, it's not. It's you have to give one for the other. Swap and liquefy was buying into a sell. Swap and evolve is selling into a buy. It's really that simple. And it does it at a much smaller threshold, which you could have done with swap and liquefy. But either way, it has to sell to buy or buy to sell. And it can't happen in a different proportion. But everybody thought that. And I was the evil idiot for telling them that it wasn't that. And people didn't like hearing that. People were debating me and saying I didn't know what I was talking about. Just nonsense, man. Keep up your critical thought and don't worry what the maxis say. Thank you, End of the World. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's hard to shut out people's voices. You know, people's voices can get in your head when you're working and stuff. Like, oh, people are going to say this. People are going to say this. Before I leave, I'd like to thank you, Cece. You helped me get over all the BS and FUD that Safemoon created for itself. I still remember you getting kicked off the water cooler for asking legit questions. Yeah, were you there for that, man, or did you just see the video? That was I got kicked out of a lot of spaces. I got like attacked by a lot of people in Hennessy space. I went in there and it basically turned into attack crypto control space. And I wish I could find this space so that people could hear it, so that you could see the level of hypocrisy, of hatred, and delusion that came at me in that space from everybody. It was insane. And then people would be like, I just don't like how you're talking to people. You're being disrespectful and condescending. I was like, do you think that anyone in here has been condescending towards me? And she was like, I don't know. I can't comment on that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you're willing to be hateful to me and be part of the group, be part of the mob, but you can only do that if you have a hypocritical standard. And when I got kicked out of the Safemoon water cooler, all I said was, this is what I said when I got kicked out. I said, hey guys, I'm really not trying to change this into a FUD space. I'm not trying to kill the vibe here. That's not my goal. But I think it's important to have a conversation that when it came to Kyle Nagy, we just assumed that everything was good. When it came to Thomas and everybody else in the past team, we assumed everything was good. If we were to assume with John that everything is good, would we not be repeating that same mistake that we made over and over and over and over again? Should we not maybe take this approach and say, maybe he's not good, and maybe we should question everything that we can see based on the idea, not on an assumption that he is good or not good, but on the idea that he could be both, and see where the evidence points us. And I didn't even get to finish, and Safemoon addicts, like, they muted me, went off on me, and kicked me and removed me from the space, and then said a bunch of things that I wasn't able to respond to. And Jeremiah removed me. And me and Jeremiah were cool before that. It's one of those things. It's like, if you believe what I believe, I love you. But if you don't believe what I believe, you're my enemy and worthy of all kinds of hatred and attacks being thrown your way. It's crazy. And I know, like, a lot of us have experienced that. A lot of you guys have experienced that. If you say something that's logical and makes sense, you're going to get attacked. You're going to get canceled. I was just going to say CC got kicked out of a few spaces. Yeah, I've gotten kicked out of quite a few spaces. I think the only one I haven't got kicked out of is Crypto Crew Raw. I think that he always appreciated me, even though he's like, Maxi, you still hold Evergrow. Nice, man. The whole world is a scam unless you're the 1%. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Dane just got in. I see it's over. Anything I should know? No, nothing huge, OG Green. Just talking to you guys. I just wanted to reach out to you guys. I really enjoyed your Safemoon math video. Safemoon Mark had that 100K view video, and I said, I need more Safemoon tokens. Oh, yeah. After I saw Mark's video, I was like, oh, like, this is how you bring value to your videos, is by actually discussing things that help people understand their investment better and the possibilities of their investment better. So Mark helped me a lot. That's why a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, of Mark. I think that Mark's a young guy and he's very ambitious. He has his weaknesses, but he has a lot of strengths. And I think his main strength is that he doesn't scam people. Mark could scam the hell out of people and make a ton of money, but he doesn't do that. He just wants to, he likes DeFi and he likes DeFi projects. So I learned a lot from him, and he definitely helped me start to understand, like, tokenomics and stuff, so that I could help other people understand what it was that I was learning. But let me ask those of you guys that are here. I'm just curious. Do you guys, how do you guys feel about this channel moving forward? You probably just kind of feel like cover other things, but cover Safemoon when you need to or when you want to. Is that kind of how you guys would feel? I would think. Hey CC, with all the Safemoon news, sex, and blockchain, do you feel better Safemoon right now? A little bit. Not with what John has done, but with, I think that the products will come out. I guess the thing with the products coming out, and you guys can let me know what you think, is I wonder if they're afraid to release products and then nothing happened and then everybody give up on Safemoon. I wonder if that's a fear in their mind of like, and I'm sure it is, right? It's like, well, what if we release this and doesn't get any volume, it doesn't get a lot of people, the price doesn't go up much, and this is why everybody believed in us. And then what do we do from there, right? How much money do we have to continue to try to promote Safemoon or to try to create for Safemoon? So that causes me to wonder, are they really going to release things? Because they're not releasing the exchange right now, even though they have it built, according to them. So I do lean towards thinking that these things are going to come out, but I think that there is something that stops them from releasing things. And I think it could be that fear that, what if we release these things we promised and everybody loses hope in us and we die? That's just my perspective. I'm not saying that's how it is. That's just what I think. Probably my favorite crypto YouTuber. Thank you, Matt Daniel. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. I'm gonna try to grow for you guys and help us get in good projects and at least be the voice that you can go to when things get bad. Do you feel passionate about with your channel? That's what will resonate with people. What do you feel passionate about? Well, this channel started because I felt passionate about Safemoon. And then I went on that journey of finding out that I guess I'm passionate about truth, you know? And it's like, it's true that you can make money in DeFi, life-changing money. It's true that you can get scammed in DeFi. But I'm more passionate about truth than I am really anything else. Because I feel like it's the most powerful thing in the universe. You know, truth is how you grow. If my personality sucks or if I'm doing something wrong in my life, why would I not want to hear that truth? So I think it comes to the same thing in DeFi. And that's the thing is like, if you're scamming people, if you're being dishonest to people, you're not being truthful. And I don't like that, you know. I do not like that. You are an investigator at heart, so you could go after Nancy Pelosi types in our government's, what's this, a wallet account out of place? Where did liquidity go? We would benefit. Yeah, man, you're trying to get me killed. I do feel like, I feel like we need a revolution. I feel like our food's poisoning us. We're being taxed to death. Nobody wants it. It's not supposed. Things are supposed to be how we want them. The people, right? These people in charge of us, we hired them. We put them there to represent us. If they don't represent us, if everything is how we don't want it to be, then do we try to go through a system that is probably corrupted to fix that? Or has that part been hijacked? So for me, I'm like, I think we're being pushed to a point where if you keep pushing and you keep pushing and you keep pushing, eventually things are going to get set right. Like how hard can you press the boot up against the back of the heads of the American people before they finally set things straight? And people need to go to jail. People have committed mass murder against their own people through what they put in the food, through what they force them to take, and it's not okay. And I get sick. I don't know if you guys feel this way. I get sick of listening to people talk about it. I'm like, I get it. They're the most corrupt people I've ever seen. They're abusing the system in every way. They're cheating. Let's get them out. Let's get people in and let's get them out. You know, I think we do need a restructuring. Because, like, here's the thing. The entire point, from what I understand, and I'm not saying I know it all, but from what I understand, the reason we need representatives is we need people to represent us because we're working so much. So we need people that we trust to make those decisions because we've elected them to make those decisions. Technology has completely changed that. If you get a blockchain and you add, KYC, the American people have the ability to vote on anything. They shouldn't be voting in Congress. We should be voting on every issue. Everyone should be voting on every issue. and we should be being fully educated on every issue as well. And there needs to be open discussion for that. And the most important reason we need open discussion is to question our governments. The most weak part of the structure of our society is the government. It's the weakest point, the most easily corrupted point. And I just get sick of hearing people talk about it. I'm like, dude, stop talking about it. Let's do something. If our taxes are too high, they're poisoning our food, they're poisoning our medication, they're not healing us. Anything that helps us, they're hiding from us. They're suppressing our views. They're labeling us as terrorists. How many times do they have to declare war on us in different ways in our lives before we finally do something about it? And I know that if one person stands up by himself, he's going to get himself destroyed. He's going to go to jail. He's going to get silenced. He's going to get his family hurt. But if we all stand up together, we can actually change that. And I think everybody feels like, oh, yeah, that'd be nice. And it's like, no, this needs to happen. We need to all stand up at once. We need to fix this system. It's crucial for our health, for our children's health, and for the future generations. The past generations suffered so that we could be here. They suffered so that we could have the freedoms that we have, the ability to own land and women's rights and, equal rights between different races. It took a lot of suffering and fighting and striving for those things. And I feel like we're just falling into even like crazier forms of slavery. Like all we want is the ability to live a good life, get by, and take care of our family, right? And the freedom to do what we want to do. And that is under attack in every way possible. And I do not think that trying to fix that through a corrupted system is going to work. I think the system's been corrupted and the bad actors need to get out. And that's all it takes. We, the people, saying, no, you do not represent us. You do not. You're done. And we need to launch investigations into every single one of you. And in the FBI and the CIA need to launch investigations into you guys, because we see corruption in judges, we see it in our FBI, we see it in Congress, we see it everywhere. And I think the idea that revolutions can't happen is what stops them from happening until finally we get to such a breaking point that it finally happens. So I don't know. I feel like that's just how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel. We do need a revolution. I keep saying the same thing. People won't even march, though. They are too manipulated. 1,000 people will be arrested in 1 minute. 100,000 will send the message. It's happening across the world, right, Michelle? Like, people are doing these things. And our news is like, oh, crap, do not broadcast that. Do not talk about that, because we do not want people doing that here. It's like, damn right you don't, because we're all armed. And like, we're not trying to be violent. We're not trying to take the wrong way. But because that's what they do, is they gaslight you. They are at war with us in every way of our lives. They're at war with our children's health. They're at war with your health. They're at war with your ability to make money. They're taxing you to death. They're making it impossible to get by. They're making decisions based with our taxes that don't help us, that benefit them, that help other countries. Like, it's just every way possible. They are at war with us. They hate us. They want to destroy us. They are destroying us. It's not a game. It's an actuality, and we're all living the reality of this. If you're suffering because of your health, that's because there's absolute trash that they put in your food. Our food is poisoned. A lot of stuff that goes in our food is banned in other countries because they know how bad it is. Then our doctors are paid to think a certain way. They don't tell you about keto diet and carnivore diet. They're advised to not do that. When certain medications were working, when we were having a worldwide pandemic, certain things were working. I'm not going to say what they were. Those were banned. They tried to get rid of them. It was actually helping people. They were stopping it. They're mass murderers. And they're pedophiles. That's why they won't release the Epstein files or the Epstein client list. And they're also getting into crypto. They ruin everything. But they don't have the power to unless we allow them to, right? It's a relationship. And we're just agreeing to it. It's just because most of us are like, well, we don't know what to do. We can vote, and then they cheat in the ballots, and then they say that anybody who questions the ballots is a conspiracy theorist, even though they were questioning the ballots 4 years ago when they lost. It was like, how did we lose so much control? It was like we looked the other way for too long, and they have control over that. And like, this is going to affect your kids. This is going to affect your kids' kids. It's getting to a point where if you say a man is a woman or a woman is a man, if you don't say that when people want you to, that's going to be considered hate speech. Christianity is slowly becoming hate speech. And to say that certain things, to call something a sin. So for me, like, yeah, I get really frustrated about that. If you guys, I'm sure if you guys know, if you guys make big money in tax in crypto, they take a lot of that. If you don't hold it for a year. So if you make a ton of money in crypto off Safemoon or something, you have to hold that in one token for a year so that it can be considered short term or long term capital gains. If you're worried about exchanges collapsing or losing that money or getting your wallet hacked or whatever, and you're just like, I need to get this off so that I don't lose that money, you take it out, you put it in your bank account, boom, highest tax that they have on that. They take 30 something % of your money. So say you made 100K in crypto, they didn't help you make that at all. They actually made it very difficult for you to make that money. They tax you to death, they make it hard to get by. They did not help at all. Now they want 30 freaking % of what you just made. They want $30,000. If you made $1 million, they want $300,000. I know there's certain things to kind of work with and do with, but ultimately it's either that or they start coming for you. And if you don't pay that, they add penalties, and then they add interest, and that just keeps going. Penalty, interest, you don't pay us. And it's like, dude, you're supposed to work for me. Like, what the hell is this system? I didn't agree to this. I don't think anybody is okay with what you guys are doing, with how these taxes are set up, and with the penalties for not paying them. No, hell no. We give you guys way, way too much money for what you're doing. And they're also inflating the dollar. They're printing money. They're sending billions of dollars elsewhere. It's like, what are we supposed to do? This is like somebody coming in your house, pissing all over the place, setting it on fire, stealing your money, raping your wife, killing your kids, and you're just sitting there like, man, this sucks. What am I supposed to do? Like, hey, man, get out of my house. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you got to do something about that guy. And I'm to the point where it's like, I plan on having a family, but I feel like, I I just want to try to start a movement that actually helps people, They put fluoride in our water. They poison us, man. We have the highest rates of cancer. And they're going to have their hand in crypto too. They already do. The Dems with FTX got paid so much money by... They basically, I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was like the money laundering thing with Ukraine. They said, oh, guys, everybody support Ukraine, guys. And everybody said, yeah, we support Ukraine. They're like, yeah, you guys are so righteous and loving for supporting Ukraine. Like, yeah, we are. That's why we got the flag on. And it's like, oh, my God. That's why I don't trust media. Anything media says, I'm like, nope. Whatever the opposite of what it is that you're trying to tell me is probably the truth. How many times do you have to fail for me to realize that? I don't know. And it's going to affect our crypto too. Did you see about the woman who was arrested for silently praying near an abortion center? I think it was in Europe somewhere. That's insane. No, I didn't see that. Bomo, what's up? The scam token? That's understandable. Dang, CC, I really want to have a chat with you one-on-one. Yeah, you can hit me up on Discord. I'm still in the Safemoon Discord. You can find me in there and message me if you haven't. I think it's at Crypto Control, actually. They infiltrate everything, yeah. They are deliberately sinking the economy to go digital and can cut you off by the push of a button. Same with electric cars. If they don't want you driving, they'll shut off. Well, yeah, that's exactly. What would we do if they shut off the internet, the electricity, and your water? We would be in huge trouble, right? And they have the ability to do that. So I don't know, man. I hope terrible things don't happen, but I just feel like something worse than what we just experienced 2 years ago is coming our way, or 3 years ago, sorry. They tax much more than 30% when you take into account the taxed goods you buy after you're already being taxed. Oh, no, yeah. Like the dollar's taxed. That's why I saw Ben Shapiro. He said, how many times can you tax a dollar before your people rise up? And it's like, that's a great question. I think the only reason we don't is because it takes all of us rising up at once. And this is why they want us divided, in my mind. They don't want us divided to be divided for the sake of being divided. They want us divided because it is easier to control people when they're at war with each other. If we all stopped what we were doing and we looked at them and said, hey, what are you guys doing over there? Why do you guys have all the money? Why do you guys have all the power? Why are you guys doing? Wait, we give you guys that money. You guys don't. Same thing with like the entire point of what we're talking about with centralization and DeFi is taking power out of a central authority and putting it in the hands of a majority and something that's trustworthy. Well, the most trustworthy part of the structure is the majority of the people, because the majority of the people are going to naturally choose what is best for themselves. It's only if you put a small group of people at the top, like a team, in charge of a project, and they have the ability to have access to funds and pull them out, that then will they not make the best interest? Because it's so much easier to profit off of tons of people, right? So what we want and what the people in charge of us want are always going to be at odds. They're always going to want, oh, what if we just tax a little bit more here? What if we raise taxes here? What if we own all this land? What if we have control of food? What if we make them eat this? You know, what if, yeah, well, yeah, we need free speech, but in the name of protection and safety, we must guard against hateful speech and terrorism. And that happens to be whatever we want it to be. And we're slowly, if we just get this step here, that you can't call a man if he thinks he's a woman, that's hate speech. Oh, and then we get a little bit further, and all of a sudden it's, if you don't submit to this government, then you're going to get a boot on your face. And we see this happening in other countries, right? People get the crap beaten out of them by their local police or whatever, police force. They're like having riots, and the police force is actually submitting to their corrupt government. And it's always because it takes a lot of people to do it at once. It takes a lot of courage at once, and it takes martyrs. It takes people standing up and dying, probably, in order to get other people to stand up and die, until enough people stand up so that it can change. And most people are just not willing to do that, even though things are really bad. Midjourney is dope. Love it. The third is always the best. What's that other app to make it move? Okay, so yeah, that one is called Photo Mirage. So yeah, it's so much fun, honestly, because like with Photo Mirage, yeah, I'll show you guys actually, since you know whatever. So this is Photo Mirage. I can hit stop. Now the red boxes. That's funny, because you guys didn't know what you were looking at. You thought it was just a background, probably. The red boxes tell it where not to move, and the arrows tell it where it needs to move. So I blocked off everything that I didn't want to move, and then I put arrows on what I wanted to move and where I wanted it to move, so that when I hit play, this sits still, but the swirling inside the middle moves. The sky is moving, and the water is moving as well. And I also had the water like kind of twirl in the middle right here. It's hard to notice, but it's really cool. I'm actually like really obsessed with AI. You guys can, if you guys want to, you can check out my other channel. I just started it. I'm not trying to grow that channel by promoting it. I'm trying to grow it by just doing well. But it's called AI Control. So I'm going to have a bunch of channels, and control is always going to usually be the word inside of it. Right now I have AI Control, Crypto Control, Data Control, and I'm probably going to make a gaming channel called Console Control. I don't know why. I didn't plan it this way. It just kind of turned out this way. I'm just letting you guys know, since you guys are like the cool people that hang out with me. That I trust you guys, you know. But I usually try not to promote channels, because I don't like growing things through promoting them. You cannot grow it. If you're trying to do YouTube, asking people to follow and sub to you is just not a good way to go about it. You just need to hit that algorithm with a good video over and over and over again, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. But doesn't that look beautiful? I know it might be kind of hard to see if you're on your phone, but doesn't that just look really beautiful, that moving around and the sky moving and everything? Did you see what BitBoy found? He found wallet that he believes is SBF. $240 million was transferred before he was extradited to the U.S. Funny how it's what his bail would be. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't see that, Michelle. Did he do a video on that? That's crazy. No problem, Jack. You're good. If you really want to see what it's like moving without a government, move to Somalia. Living without a government. No, you don't want to live without a government. Here's the thing is, I think government is needed for the times. And I think that technology has made it so that the voices of the people that we can actually be the ones determining, right? We don't need people to determine things for us. We can determine. What if we all voted on every issue? And what if we were all talking about, hey, do we want to go to war? Do we want to support this? Not a couple people in Congress voting, the American people voting. And here's how I feel. At least it's up to the majority, right? If you had 100 people or 99 people, or let's just say, 90 people in a room, and you had 10 people deciding what was going to happen to the whole room, and it was based on those 10 people, and they voted. 5 people vote this way, 5 people vote this way, it's a tie, whatever, right? Then you have a small group of people determining everything for the large group of people. And it's much more likely that the small group of people is going to have their own interest in mind and not just their own interest, but the opportunity to make a ton off of their own interest as opposed to the group. So we will always, like, we want to live healthy. We want to have more money. We want to do well. We want peace. Most of us just want to live our lives and be at peace with each other and have the opportunity to do well and not feel like we're being scammed or robbed or like we're being, and I know we all feel that way. I know we all feel that way with taxes, with tax documents. We feel there's corruption in so many places of the system, that people are being put in jail that shouldn't be, that people that should go to jail aren't because they're paying for it, and that certain political parties are being investigated, other political parties are not. It's just, we can feel the weight of injustice across the entire broad system. But if we were all determining it through a system, then I would be okay with the system failing, because at least it would be by our decision, right? If those 90 people, if you're on a boat and 90 people, or the captain and a couple people are the only ones deciding what happens, and they drive into an iceberg and then everybody dies, but nobody wanted to drive into that iceberg, then it was because of those few people's fault that happened. But if everybody has the ability to decide, most people are going to decide, hey, I don't want to go into that iceberg. Hey, I don't want to have cancerous stuff in my food. Hey, let's actually have a cure for cancer. You know what I mean? Let's actually heal. Let's actually look at every method possible, like dieting, fasting, keto diet, carnivore diet. The voice of the people will usually represent the people better than the voices that are supposed to represent the people. And our system is the opposite of that. And they don't want us to know. They know that. They know that if we stand up, which is kind of like crazy. It's like, why would you guys keep pushing us? If you didn't push us so freaking hard, we probably would just mind our business. But now you guys are pushing us in every way possible. I mean, families were dying last year, a couple years ago, and you couldn't see them on their dying, in their last moments. They had to die alone. The insanity of what's going on, the problems that have come from getting that stick in your arm. People are dying. People are getting issues from that, and that's all being suppressed. It's all being suppressed, and that's like mass, and they're still promoting it. Get your booze. You know, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, the world we live in. You want a direct democracy rather than a republic? I'm not sure exactly what the system is. I just think that we live in an age of technology where we can decide. The people need to decide what's happening for them. And let's just say the people make bad decisions. Let's say we all say, oh, no taxes. And then we all realize, hey, having absolutely zero taxes is actually having a negative effect. And we do need some taxes. But at least it's by the people and not by this group of people that happens to gain control. Because that's what has happened. They have control to make the people, like we determine what they do. We are their employers. They work for us. They don't think they do. They act like they don't. They act like they're greater than us and that they have the authority over us. And they do have authority over us because we've given it to them, and because we give it to them, because we don't stand up to them. To literally, and the fact that they gain control of media, like 90-something% of media is owned by them, that the power that came from that, of somebody saying, hey, it's going to rain on Tuesday and this guy got murdered today. And also, this attack happened and you should definitely see it from this perspective. That was one of the most powerful tools that they've ever had. And I think they've abused it to death. It's like, how many times can you lie to us through the media before we start to mistrust you, which is why there's an insane amount of distrust with the governments, with media. We can tell we don't trust it. And this is across the world. It's not just America. It's just if we all said, hey, pick this one day we're going to set things straight. One day out of the year, we're all coming together. And if things aren't how we want them to be across the world, we will set them straight. If you call us terrorists, if you try to label us as something we're not, as insurrectionists, this is part of the Constitution at a certain point, is that if we the people are being oppressed by a government, they knew that this was a problem. This is all designed for our freedom. And they recognized that the greatest problem to this was at the top, was at the government. That's why we need the right to bear arms. That's why we need the freedom of speech, is because the government, in order to control us, it needs to disarm us, and it needs to control what we're allowed to talk about in order to keep us underneath their control. I'd love to contact you on Discord, but I just don't know how. Are you on Twitter, Matt? You can message me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @CryptoControl3. I don't know who had @CryptoControl 1 and 2, but I got 3. Atom government is necessary, especially the larger the population. However, it must be a government that isn't corrupt and has the people's best interest in mind. See, I don't believe that. I think it's like the same thing with crypto. The investors want what's best for themselves. The team wants what's best for itself. It's the most easily corrupted part of the system because it's where the most power is. Wherever the most power is the most easily corrupted part of the system. And the government is the most easily corrupted part of the system. It's easy for it to get bought out. It's easy for good people to get killed, like JFK and other people. It's easy to frame people and like put a malicious link that downloads some type of, CP on their computer that then you can frame them for. It's so easy for corruption to invade. As long as the voices of the people is what's determining what happens, then I think that I'm not saying it'll be perfect because humans aren't perfect. Nothing can be perfect if we're not perfect. But that's what's so interesting to me. It's like people try to think that there's a perfect system that works that'll cause imperfect humans to live perfectly. And I just don't believe there is that thing. I think that there is probably what is the best system to guide imperfect humans. And I think that the United States Constitution is the closest thing we've ever seen to that. I'm not super knowledgeable on this issue. It's just my opinion that the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, with the rights of individuals to have a certain type of lifestyle that's not prohibited by an outside source. And it was all designed in mind with the government, knowing that the government could be the problem, that at a certain point, if the government does not represent the people, it is our duty, is our job to install the new government that we do believe represents us. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to just sit here and say, man, this sucks. So, and I think that so many voices on the right that I agree with have built up a platform. They have a safe way. Like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but like Ben Shapiro and a lot of these people, they make a living off this. Do they really want transformation if it involves destroying themselves, right? I don't know. For actual change to happen, you might actually have to see the destruction of your wealth and of your reputation in order to call for actual change. But I think it's like, well, we like talking about those things, but we don't like actually trying to do anything about those things. Or maybe it's just not, they don't feel it's their responsibility to have to do that. So, but I just don't see a solution other than doing something. It's like, you can talk about the guy who's inside your house setting everything on fire and killing your family and poisoning you and all that stuff. Or you could just do something about it. You know what I mean? Plenty of social studies have shown any more than about 120 people in a form of governments needs to be or ultimately divulges to chaos. That's interesting. Malicious music. That's also any more than about 120 people in a form of governance needs to be well, I'm not saying no form of governance. I'm saying a system by which we all vote. You think that it's better to have a small group of people represent the whole? Like, that's literally what we have right now. A small group of people representing the whole. Nobody's happy with what they're doing. Maybe there are problems with it, but Constitution holds up the republic that you're saying causes all these issues. Money and politics, 100% agree, Atarxia. I keep getting banned from Twitter for saying John stole from the LP. That's funny. Well, you should be on Twitter, just banned by Safemoon. They don't like ban you on Twitter. 44 watching, that's an Archangel. Constitution that holds up the republic. Okay, absolutely not. Ben Shapiro had no problem with the current system. He upholds the corporations that hold us down. Yeah, I'm not trying to make it too political, but crypto does get into politics, and the conversation of DeFi does get into politics. It's that when you give too much power to the top, you get a boot to the throat. And I think that we don't need that. I don't think we need representatives. Or if we do have representatives, I think we, the people, should be able to vote them out immediately. I don't know about terms and stuff. If you do something, you need to know that you know what I mean? Like, your job is on the line. Every individual within our setup, their job should be on the line by the American people. If we say, whoa, 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 Biden, you are not representing us, we're going to have a vote. We're going to vote you out. Or any part of the political process. I'm not saying I know all the answers. I'm just saying, if you think that how it is as good as it's going to be, I strongly disagree with you. Or if you think that fixing it through the system that exists, I definitely disagree with you there too, as well. I think that technology has moved humanity into a new stage of governance But we probably have to go through these really bad times before we have a revolution, before we set up a structure that works better for the people that then leads to more corruption. I don't think this world's ever going to be perfect, to be honest, unless God comes down himself and sets everything on fire and sets everything in order, which I do think will happen one day. But so it's also important to keep that in mind, is like, you can't fix the world. You can't even fix yourself. Make yourself perfect. So what makes you think you can make the world perfect? But I'm not talking about perfection. I'm just talking about pulling that boot off of our faces a little bit. You know what I mean? Like the taxes and the health. Like, let's make our food a little healthier. Let's make it easier to own land. Let's make it easier to make money. Let's stop inflating the dollar. Let's stop all those things. That's nonsense. Anybody who's doing that is an enemy of the Constitution and the people of America. And those people are within our own government and are brainwashing our own citizens to think how they think. Yeah, it is a gift and a curse, right? Anything is, right? Word on the street is Trump will finish Biden's term. That would be insane. I don't think that'll happen. But we'll see. We'll see how the elections go. I still don't think Biden has done a horrible job. Could have been a lot worse. Really? Okay. And that's fine. But, you know, this is the worst economy we've had. So it'd be interesting to say that you didn't think he's done a bad job when inflation's the worst it's ever been. Anyways, guys, it was nice hanging out with you guys. I gotta go work on some other things. I gotta try to make a living. YouTube's not easy, you know. Alaska Moondog, good to see you, man. A small group of people voting for the goal would work if we had fair elections and term limits, but we don't. Technology has some so far, though, that we could vote individually online. Yeah, I think it could work, but there's just always people, you know what I mean? It's like, you can make a good program in DeFi, a good smart contract. There's always people seeking to exploit it. So even if you get what you think is a good place and system, they'll come up with a reason. Oh, hey guys, we need to make sure that, you know, it's safe. So we're going to put this measure in place. And then they go and they abuse that measure, and they use that measure to get somebody corrupt in place so that you can't. And then it takes a whole restructuring, a whole like breaking down of the structure of what allows them to be what they are. So we're all being played for fools. I like what George Carlin said. It's like, it's a club and you're not in on it. It's 100% what it is. That's why you just, you know, believe in Jesus and love people. And when you die, you won't have to worry about whether or not you made the world perfect or not. You just have to worry about the responsibility that you had to do good to others. Did you uphold that responsibility? Did you believe in Jesus? Did you love other people, or did you live for yourself? I think that's all it'll come down to. I think God will fix the world. It's not up to us, but we do have a role to play while we're here, and a certain amount of responsibility. But also, I don't know the extent of that responsibility. Like, that might just be like helping your neighbor or being kind to people. But why couldn't it be helping a system, change a system that affects millions of people's lives in a good way, you know? Why not? Lego, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Increasing profits. Hello, everybody. Doing good, man. Just getting ready to end this live. I was just hanging out, chatting about Safemoon a little bit. Then we got into YouTube and then politics and stuff. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get off here, and I'm probably gonna make an AI video. If you guys want to see my face, you can go to AI control. I just posted a video messing with AI art. I can show you how I made this. It might be kind of hard to find the channel, and I'm not promoting it to grow it, because you can't grow channels that way. And everybody thinks that I tell somebody about my channel, oh, you're just trying to grow your channel. It's like, no, dude, you've never done YouTube. You don't grow a channel by asking 1,000 people to subscribe to it. You grow it by putting out a video that gets 10,000 views, and then you get 100 subscribers from that. You know what I mean? And if you grow a channel by asking people to subscribe to it, those people are not going to watch your content. You need people to subscribe who actually want to watch your content. So whenever I tell you guys about a channel, it's not like self-promotion. It's just purely if you want to watch it. I basically am just having fun. I love AI mid-journey art. It's so much fun, guys, to sit there and work with images, to work with an idea, to create an idea, to get that idea to what you want it to be. to get a high professional detailed. It looks like some artist spent a ton of time on this. I just made this. I used the Safemoon logo. I typed in, what did I type in? Let me check real fast. I typed in superb, dark, lucid dream, water, clouds, photoreal, Unreal Engine, 8K, dynamic lighting, epic. And then it gave me 4 images, and then I got 4 new ones, and then I upscaled this one. And then I went into Pixlr online, and then I made it darker, and I made I used the punch, and then I used the contrast, and then I added a little bit of vignette, if that's how you pronounce it, on the sides. Is it vignette or is it vignette? I don't know if the G is silent. I've never had to pronounce that word before. I just use it all the time because it looks really cool. And then I went and I animated it, and I made it move. So now it's like swirling in the middle. It just looks amazingly cool. So I love doing this with AI art, and I'm definitely trying to grow an AI channel because that's something I really enjoy doing. Thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Are you coming back to Safemoon? I miss your support and content was great. The exchange is so close. Please come back. Laughing Coffin. I want to, like, if coming back means coming back and making positive videos about Safemoon, that involves Safemoon doing something to the point that the price goes up and that we expect the price to go up, right? If John just proved that he didn't take from the liquidity, I could come back to Safemoon, to be honest, in a much stronger way. But with that just not being addressed, it's very hard to be like, hey guys, this is going to be amazing, even though it hasn't been the whole time. But if the price ever comes up, or if it ever appears like it's going to come up, I can be a lot more positive on that. I just don't want to be positive on something that's going to be negative, because then that's like getting you guys hyped up, and if you get hyped up, you're probably more likely to throw money in. If you throw money in and it keeps going down, you're going to lose money. So it's like, that's another thing. It's like, my positivity is for your good. You know what I mean? I'm not. I could be positive and get more views. Guys, Safemoon to the moon, and probably get 2 to 3 times as many views as I'm getting if I did positive Safemoon content, which would be 2 to 3 times much as money. But I just can't do that, honestly. But thank you so much for the $5, man. I really appreciate that. Safemoon is a scam. I'm holding but not buying. I think that's a good strategy, Lego. I know you want to. You're always on the fence looking for just something to grab to hop back on. Well, it's not really like on the fence or off the fence. For me, it's just like there's realistic possibilities of what could happen in the future. And I think that things look bad for Safemoon, but I still think that unless John goes to jail, for me, like, I feel like if John goes to jail, Safemoon's done. And I'm not saying that he is going to jail or that there's anything even happening. I'm just saying CoffeeZilla covered that stuff. CoffeeZilla is a massive YouTuber. Everybody knows who CoffeeZilla is. He covered FTX. He's covered all kinds of things. And he covered Safemoon. And he's covering Logan Paul right now. And it's like bringing a lot more awareness to something might increase the chances of something bad happening to it. And I can't just be like, well, I make money off Safemoon, so I don't want to say anything negative about it. And that's what people never realize. It's like, you do the right thing, not just for me, but for you guys. And it hurts my channel, and it hurts my money, and it hurts my revenue. But it's always the right information for you. Like, we gave warnings about Thomas. We gave warnings about Ryan. We told what Swap and Liquify was doing. We're always going to be this honest source of information. I'm not just going to be a hype machine, even though we love that, even though it's fun. I'd prefer to be that way, but I can't just be that way if the situation's not that way. Safemoon would have to start massively going up in price, releasing products, people getting hyped about it, things looking legit, huge partnerships happening, unknown things coming out that appear to be huge. There'd have to be this massive FOMO back into Safemoon for me to actually take that approach. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty on the fence. And right now, on the fence is off the fence, because there's more negative to Safemoon than there is positive. In my perspective, realistically, you cannot look at Safemoon and say, it's about 50-50. No, to me, it's about 90-10 or 95-5. It's about 95% bad and 5% potentially good. And that 5% potentially good, in my perspective, is just based off the fact that tons of people know about it, and that maybe if they release products that are actually useful, or they make some good partnerships, that maybe people will start to FOMO in because the price is so low that you might be able to see another opportunity to make money. I wouldn't even treat it like the J curve. It's such a hard thing to say, and it's so hard when the price is going up. You 2x your bag. Oh wow, 2x. Maybe it'll go 10. Maybe it'll go 100. It's like, that's the game you're playing, right? And It was like with Evergrow. I don't know if you guys were with me on Evergrow, but Evergrow was an interesting one. I know people that took out their profits super fast, and man, they would have sat on a lot of money. For me, I sat on, I watched it go to like 1,000. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I watched it go to like 5,000. I'm like, damn, that's a good bet. 8,000. This is nice. And me and my stepdad, I got him into crypto. I bought it for him. I sent it to him. I'm like, here you go. You can just give me the money later. And we're both contacting each other every day. Hey, I saw Evergrow. It keeps going up. This is insane. Yeah. So, I got to 10K, and my stepdad was like, you should cash that out. And I was like, I don't think so. I think it's gonna keep going. And he's like, I would cash that out. Like, what if you lose that? I was like, no. So, and that's hard. I never sat on that much money before. And I rode that all the way up to over 200K. And I didn't know how high it was going to go. So I only sold about half. And it was hard to do. It's hard to sit on 50 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand. It goes down to 60 grand. It's hard. It's very hard to do that. I know some of you guys have done that. It is not easy to look at that kind of money and knowing that it could drop down to like what, 2 grand, right? Knowing that you could lose years of wages. But I did kind of play that really smart, and I happened to sell half my bag near the top. And the only reason I sold half my bag is because I thought if this keeps going, I don't want to miss what it could be. So I chose a point. I let everybody know what it was. I said, I'm going to sell about half my bag around here. I didn't hide this from the people I was talking about Evergrow. I was saying, everybody, have a plan. Have a plan for yourself. Like for me, my plan is take half, pick a good selling point. That way I'm still in the game, but I'm also not going so far beyond what I wanted that I would regret not selling. And I happened to just pick near the top, which I'm very thankful for. And I'm very happy that, I was able to do that, because I could have lost everything that I had and had this moment in my life where I sat on money I'd never seen and didn't even take the opportunity of. Now, I could have sold it all and would have been a lot better off. And I kind of wish I did now, but hindsight, 2020 and all that stuff. Joe, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. I know you want to, you're always on the okay. Lego, I'm not going to buy, I'm just holding it back, and that's it, not spending no more money on it. All of us YouTubers will apologize publicly if John proves he didn't steal, not to mention all the naysayers like CoffeeZilla, but if we are being honest, we all know the answers already. Yeah, I probably do agree with your take on that, Joe. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, CoffeeZilla being a naysayer. Yeah, if John can prove that he got his money and it wasn't through the investors, because like people don't think about the implications of that. If John is living this lavish, rich lifestyle, millions of dollars, mansion, cars, food, living it up, going around giving speeches like he's the next entrepreneur, this is what John was doing, guys. If that was all from our liquidity, like the implications of that are insane. John is definitely going to jail. That's right. Like if John went to jail, I'd be like, guys, I think we're done. I think this is it. Putting everything into ADA and HBAR. I got some XRP. What do you guys think about XRP? I haven't been in my Safemoon wallet in a long time. I just went to look at it and it's not signed in. I tried to update wallet. Now I can't put my recovery phrase in. Did I lose all my tokens? OG Green, I would just reach out to the Discord with all that. I don't know, some crazy stuff going on with like Orbital Shield or something. And definitely just reach out to them, because that's what they deal with on a daily basis, and they would know a lot more about that. The exchange can do it. You have 3 subs now. You have 3 subs? What do you mean? Subscribers? No, I have like 14,000 subscribers. Unless you're talking about something else. Or are you saying some people just subscribed three more subscribers? Yeah, that's funny. All right, guys. I love hanging out with you guys. I just kind of want to reach out and connect with the YouTube audience again. If you guys missed this live stream and you're coming back, you can comment and I'll try to respond to your guys' comments. But I just kind of want to take a moment and reach out to the YouTube community, my YouTube community, and talk to you guys, see how you guys were feeling about things and stuff. So XRP, let go. Yeah, it's great hanging out with you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna upload on AI control if you guys want to watch that. You don't have to. I'm trying to grow that channel. It's like, oh no, that's on AI control. Thank you so much. Everything just clicked. I'm so sorry. I have 3 subscribers on AI control. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm probably gonna work for a video on that. I just love making stuff for AI, so I'd like to grow a channel on that if I can. But if I don't, oh well. I'm at least putting out like decent quality videos, I think. So yeah, guys, you guys have a great day out, and hope things go well. And I'll see you guys in a Twitter space or a YouTube video or somewhere around. You guys have a great day.